Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are both open-world action games designed by Ubisoft Montreal. And like a bunch of recent Ubisoft games, they share a pretty similar structure. You know the one, climb a tower to open up activities on the map, or take out an enemy outpost to gain control over an area, that sort of thing. But what makes Watch Dogs different? What's going on to appeal to people who are burnt out on Assassin's Creed? Well, here are 4 ways Watch Dogs might win over Assassin's Creed haters. Get 5 Assassin's Creed fans in a room and chances are you'll have 5 people who couldn't care less about the modern animus sections of the game, or as we refer to them in the office, the shit parts. Oh sure, you'll find the occasional person who can kinda sorta tolerate Desmond Miles, but you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who really loves the way every Assassin's Creed game includes dual storylines. Watch Dogs doesn't have any of that stuff to weigh it down. This is the story of Aiden Pierce and his own problems in modern day Chicago. For better or worse, what you see is what you get. Who knows whether the story will be any better than Assassin's Creed, but it will certainly be told in a more direct way. While there's a bunch of you who are fans of the rooftop parkour way of getting around any given Assassin's Creed game, there's also a sect who think it's a fairly tedious way to explore an area. Not to mention the way you run down a street and then accidentally end up sticking on the edge of a building. Running around on foot can be fun, but also pretty time-consuming in the long term, and for those people, there's just one thing to say: cars! Yes, Watch Dogs employs all the magic of modern automotive technology. Just hop in a car, legally, illegally, we won't judge, and explore the city of Chicago at breakneck speeds. In that regard, Watch Dogs feels a lot more like Grand Theft Auto than Assassin's Creed, but unlike those early GTA games, the driving in Watch Dogs is actually pretty fun. Assassin's Creed has always been pretty heavy on the swordplay and melee combat, but Watch Dogs is a whole other beast entirely. You can play it like a third-person shooter if you want, but you can also craft gadgets like sticky lures to sneak by guards unseen, or set off car alarms and steam pipe explosions to create even more of a ruckus. And if everything goes to hell and you need to pull the nuclear option, just trigger a citywide blackout and sneak away under the cover of darkness. It's a game with a lot more ways to approach combat than Assassin's Creed, although unfortunately that means there are no brutal aerial takedowns. Can't win them all. Assassin's Creed has always had its fair share of comic relief characters, but on the whole the series has tended to be fairly serious. On the surface, Watch Dogs looks like it's going to be following a similar path, but dig a little deeper and you'll find a game that knows how to have a little fun when it wants to. The most obvious example are digital trips, which are those eccentric mini-games you can play in a bizarro alternate version of Chicago. You know, like piloting a spider tank as it crawls up skyscrapers and destroys everything in sight. That kind of stuff. Everything you've been hearing about cyborgs in Watch Dogs? Yeah, this is that. All up, Watch Dogs will still probably be tinged with that Ubisoft formula, but I think it's gonna have enough surprises to keep those of you who aren't so keen on Assassin's Creed interested. Let me know whether you think this one is overhyped or whether you're excited for it. Last week I talked to you guys about Wolfenstein: The New Order, and here's what you thought about it. Demoralize added, health does regenerate, but I guess they didn't play the game. You're right that it regenerates, but only a very small portion of the overall health bar, so those medkits are still super important. While some of you still think the game qualifies as mindless, see Reaper210 said, "I'm loving the game. I got like 10 hours into it and I'm halfway through the game, so it's pretty beefy for a non-open world FPS." And Scalpanesis wanted it noted, you forgot to mention that you can eat dog food to recover health. Yep, that's a very important point. That's it from me. Be sure to leave your thoughts in that commenting section and I will see you next week.